Hello ladies and gents, my name's Lost, and today we are going to get card manipulations working. We're not going to do the AI today. We're purely going to work on just manipulating the cards and getting them on the board itself. Also, we're going to work on, like this selecting thing. We've got to make sure we can select the right card that we're clicking on. And oh dear, we've been absolutely crushed this game. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today, guys. So yeah, let's get started. So, if you remember from last episode, we got the player's hand working with this. So, we've drawn 5 cards. Now we need to create 5 cards for the enemy, for the AI. So, again, I have commented everything, so let's get started with some code. So quick setup to randomize who goes first. Right then, so we're gonna get we're just declaring ran 10. It's gonna give us a number between 1 and 2. If ran 10 is 1, the player will go first, else the AI will go first. So the color we're gonna blend the enemy cards to. Now I've just made this color. It's kind of red, it's just, I don't know, you can change that to whatever you want. I just kind of liked it. Now we're going to do the same thing for the enemies, in the sense that we are going to create an array system for their hand, but instead of using the DS list like we did for the player, we didn't really need to do it for the player, if you remember. So instead we are just going to create 5 cards at the opposite side of the room to the player, but otherwise it's the same X and Y. All I've added is room width minus 50, you see? So the coordinates are identical, just at opposite sides of the room. So yeah, and that's all 5 cards, like I said. And now we're going to create a script in a moment, and that script is going to give the cards a random sprite and then assign the stats. Okay? So this is the script we need to create right here. Okay then, so as you can see, we have the script, and now we're going to do some code. So we're going to assign the AI's cards randomly, and of course we're talking about the sprites. So again, we've got a for loop to loop through 5 items. We're declaring ran card between 1 and 12, because there's 12 cards currently. That would just be the maximum amount of cards that you have. So if ran card is 1, we're going to set the sprite index to sprite card Dover, and then we will assign the stats to the card. If it's run card 2, then the hand E sprite will be sprite card Horned Imp. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skip ahead until all 12 of them, and then we will reflect on the code together. Okay then, so as you can see, it is just from 1 to 12, else if it's 3, and then we assign the sprite index the according sprite. And then with that hand item, we script assign stats. So we just run that script, and if you remember, in here we are just literally just setting the stats based on which sprite has been selected. So with these for loops, you kind of have to visualize this. So as it's working through this thing here, so like you have to sort of visualize that this, as I increases, it's doing this, right, up until 5. So it goes through all of these and assigns each of them a sprite, basically. Okay, so if we go back to the object deck generator and we go back to the create event, there's some more code that we have to add. So we're going to add the code that is going to allow us to manipulate our hand items, if you like, our cards. So again, all commented. I'm commentating right now. So first of all, enemy selected is obviously going to be the enemy card that they then select, and the card selected is the card we, as the player, are going to select. So these are all of the board positions that are playable. and we will add the board graphics in a moment. So as you can see, played pos 1 X and Y is the top left of the board. Then it's like 1, 2, 3, so, and then 4, 5, 6, right? So 5 is the very center board, and as you can see here, it's going to be room width divide 2 and also room height divide 2, and that is the very center of the room, obviously, and that is the middle slot. And based on the middle slot, we know how to get the rest of the board positions, because the cards are 90 wide and 105 pixels tall, and the origin is right in the center. So therefore, we know that position 5 is the very center, position 4 is to the left, right? So we know you have to minus 90, okay? So therefore, position 1, which is above position 4, would be minus 90 on the x-axis, and then minus 105, and that would then take you to position 1, you see? So you've got position 5, which is the center, minus 90 is position 4, and then minus 105 on the y-axis brings you to position 1. And that is how I basically worked out all of the positions. Now, as you can see down here, these variables are just going to determine if the board slot is open or if it is closed. Okay, and that is 1 to 9, because there are 9 slots in total. Okay, so before we continue with the card manipulation, let's just set this to false no matter what, because we're not programming the AI for now. Okay, so now we need a step event, and in here we are gonna do this. So we're gonna constantly run the player controls. We're not gonna use states for this because we just don't need to, really. The code isn't complex enough for there to be tons of states for this game. So yeah, I just didn't do it for this one. It's normally very good practice to set up a state machine, but yeah, I just didn't feel like it was necessary this time. So let's create this script card selection. Okay then, so, and this is what we're going to do. So first we're going to say if AI10 is false, which of course in our little setup here it will be. If we have pressed the left mouse button, and if the mouse is over a card, one of our cards specifically, so yeah, then that means we've clicked and the mouse is over the card, as I just said. So well done me for writing that. We'll create this script in a minute. Don't worry about it yet. Gonna explain that on its own. But it's just gonna make. Sorry. Let's get through this first. So, if we're holding down the left mouse button, then this will make the selected card follow the mouse, pretty much. So with card selected, if played is false, then X will equal the mouse X, and the Y will equal the mouse Y. The depth will equal just minus room height, so that is above all the other cards in the room. And then if we release the left mouse button, we're going to check to see if we can play the card. Okay, so if card selected does not equal no one, so we're basically saying if it exists, then we're going to run a script called script play card again. We're going to get to that in a moment, one thing at a time. Okay, so if we let go of the left mouse button, if the card exists, is essentially what this is saying. We'll run this script, but not yet. And then with the card that we've just let go of, the depth will just minus equal the start Y, so just what he had to begin with. Okay, that's all that's doing. Now there's two scripts we've got to create here. The first one is script get top card, so let's do that first. Okay, so before we start getting this together, I just want to credit Heartbeast a little bit here. One of his most recent videos, from the date of this recording, which is the 20th of April today. I'm not sure when his video was, but his video essentially gave me the idea for this solution. Because what can happen is the mouse, when we click on the cards, it can be over up to 3 cards at once, technically. Okay? So we need to make sure that we're selecting the one with the lowest depth, so that it is higher to us. Okay? And it was Heartbeast that I mean, our code differs. We've done it. It's the same method, but we've done it slightly differently. The code is going to differ, but he's the one that gave me the idea for this solution. So let's get started. So I give it a brief description here. Used for card selection. Yeah, as I'm saying, we can click up to 3 cards at the same time, which I will demonstrate that shortly. So we will get the highest depth and set that as the selected card. Yeah. Now we have to create a new list for this, and we're going to call it under mouse. And then with the object card player, we'll just check to see if once we've clicked, if the mouse was over the card, and if it is under the mouse, we're going to add it to the list. Okay, we're going to add the card to under mouse list, and then we're going to get the size of the list. We're going to create a new variable called card, and we're just going to say, we're going to do a loop here, and we're going to add all cards under the mouse to an array. Okay, once this code has written itself out, we will look at this again. Okay, and so we're just going to check for if the size of the list is 3. That means we've clicked on 3 cards at the same time. Okay, because that's the highest possible number we can click on. So we can be very specific with this. Okay, and I'm going to go a bit more in depth in a moment. Okay, but I suppose all you really need to know is that the variable top card just gets the card with the lowest depth. Okay, and then sets the card with the lowest depth to card selected. But we're gonna, as I said, I'm not gonna say it again, but we'll go through this momentarily. So yeah, else if size is 2, so if we clicked on 2 cards at once, then we'll do it just for 2 cards. Else card selected will just be instance position under the mouse X, because that means we've just clicked on 1, and therefore this whole thing was irrelevant. Okay. So let's do this from top to bottom. As I said, we're going to create a new list with the parent object card. Now, bear in mind that when we run this card, we have already left-clicked. Okay, we've left-clicked. And if we've clicked on a card, we're going to run this script. Now, so we're saying, because we've already clicked, we're saying if the mouse was over self, so this just does it with every card, then it's going to add itself to that list. Okay, and it's going to add to that list its own ID. Okay, and then what we're doing is we're going to get the size of the list. We're going to declare this variable card, and then we're going to loop through all the cards that we've just clicked on. So this could be up to 3, remember? Up to 3. And yeah, it's just going to add up to 3 cards to the list, depending on how many we've just clicked on by accident. And if it is 3, we're going to set a variable called getTop. And this is going to get the minimum value from card 0, card 1, and card 2. So 3 cards. Okay. And obviously we're saying dot depth, so it's getting the lowest depth. And then we're saying if getTop is card 0's depth, then card selected is card 0. Okay. And remember, the cards get added to the list here. Alright. Sorry, I mean they get added here as the ID, so they're getting added to a list as their actual object ID. Okay, so if card 0 has the lowest depth, then card selected would be card 0. Same with card 1 and same with card 2. Exact same code here, but only looking for 2 cards this time. Else, if there's only 1 being clicked, card selected is just whatever was under the mouse. And then at the end of this, we are just going to destroy the list, as that will stop memory leaks from being an issue. Right, now we need to create a script. We need to create the script play card is what I'm trying to do. Okay. So, in card selection, down here is where we're playing the card itself. So, when we lift up the left mouse button, again, if it exists, so if it doesn't equal no one, we're going to play the card and then set the card to no one and sort the depth out. Okay? So in play card, everything is annotated again. So let us just have a look. Right, so again, I've given a brief description of what exactly we're doing here. So we're going to see if we can play the card at the position we let it down at. Okay? So if the mouse is very close to the location, so let's say if the card that is selected isn't played, and if the point distance, so the card's X and Y to the played position 1, X and Y, is less than or equal to 20. So that just means if the mouse is within 20 pixels, and if played 1, pos 1 is false, that just means that the position is open and the card doesn't exist there. As you'll see, we'll close it in a second. So the card X and the card Y becomes played position 1. 1's X and Y. So we place the card there. We run a script called script damage check. True just means it's the player, but we'll get to that in a future episode. That won't be this one. So as you can see, the card selected dot played is true. So that means we've played the card, and played position 1 becomes true. So that means that no more cards can be played at that position because it's closed. So an enemy card, the AI can't put it there. You can't put another position, another card on position 1. And then what we do is we are gonna do the exact same thing for all locations. Now I have noticed that if you look where the mouse is now, right here I've got card selected X and card selected Y, and then down here for some reason I've decided to do mouse X and mouse Y. That was a mistake on my part. I didn't realise I'd done that, if I'm quite honest with you, but it doesn't matter because they should be identical, because the card selected X and Y should always be the mouse's X and Y. So that was my bad. Doesn't really matter, it's not going to affect anything, so feel free to just use mouse X and mouse Y if you want, or go with card selected X and Y. Totally up to you. But anyway, what we do is after we've set it to true, we then have to say else. So if the mouse is not within 20 pixels, if it's further away, then we're just going to set the card back to its original position and card selected becomes no one. And then what we do is we do this for every single spot. So I'm just going to speed this up and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so as you can see, I've just done the exact same, it's the same code, but for every slot. Okay, for every single slot. And yeah, so what we'll do, just so we can see what we've got so far, we're going to create this script so it doesn't crash when we hit the compile button. Script damage check, like that. And we'll just say argument 0 we'll just go var check is argument 0, and we'll change this in a minute. This will just stop it from crashing when we do it. So yeah, let's have a quick look at what we have so far. Okay, so as you can see, our cards are nicely sort of lined up, all in the correct order. So what I meant by we can click 3 at any time, obviously if I click here I'm only clicking 1. We can quite easily identify that. If we click here we're clicking 2, and the Rat King has the lower depth, therefore we click the Rat King. Now but here, technically we're clicking all 3 cards at the same time, but Wingy has the lowest depth, therefore Wingy is selected. Now, we'll come on to this mess here later on, not in this video, but as you can see, we can place the cards in the slots, no problems at all. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Hey guys, Lost here. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you're new and want more content like this, and please give me your thoughts down below in the comments. Catch you guys later.